we believe in working with the media directly, and quite honestly, we've opened all our doors to the media, and you've always responded to our call. We definitely want to thank you for that. And as usual, we'll have the proper press conference, after which we'll have question and answers. As we normally do, we're open to any type of questions, but all we want is for questions not to be repeated, and we'll give access and opportunity to every media house to raise their concerns, any questions they have, and we'll answer to the best of our ability. So without wasting much time and without much ado, we definitely want to go into the press conference proper. And once again, we welcome you all to yet another APRC press conference. It is of great honor and pleasure that all the time we share with the media whatever information we have, and for you to disseminate what information is given to you for the public out there. So the Right Honorable Alhaji Fabakary Tombong Jatta, he will lead you through this press conference. Honorable, the floor is yours.
Let me give the opportunity to start our deputy spokesperson and secretary for coordinating this press conference. And to welcome various media houses here in present for responding to our call. Appreciate and acknowledge. I also want to thank the APRC National Executive Committee, all APRC members and sympathizers, both here and the diaspora, and indeed all Gambians. I send you all our sincere greetings. I want to make a preamble to the press conference. I want to make it abundantly clear that we, the membership of the Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, are God fearing. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are true to our country. We are disciplined. And we have respect for authority. But make no mistake, because of those qualities or those characteristics, we cannot be cowed down by anybody or any force, both here and outside. We are resolute and fight hard to defend our rights and dignity. And we are more determined now than ever before to surmount all obstacles on our way to achieve what we want. So-called political commentators and human rights activists like Nyan Jan and Madi Chopati, who, for reasons best known to them, will make remarks against ourselves and our leadership and our people, and expect no response from anybody. This cannot be tolerated. Madi Jobate passed who represents the Westminster in trying to ensure democracy and rule of law, we all know, is partisan. In all his endeavors, ever since, for the past 20-something years, he clothes himself in a goose closet and expect that he can say and do anything without response. To the extent that they were reporting my first deputy to the police, and even demanding from police to call him for questions as if they are the be-all and the end-all of everything. Let nobody take us for granted. Let nobody take our discipline, our respect for granted. I said, we are Gambians, we are God-fearing, we are disciplined, we don't want any problems in the country. But don't take us for a ride. I will make a special comment. Instead of Usman Rambo, I will myself take the lead in dissecting what these people are doing and exposing them and even asking them. We will do anything possible to respond equally or more to whatever they do. That has to be made clear. We as a party are dictated by our conscience. Wishes and aspirations of our party members and indeed our beloved country, Gambia. The focus of today's press conference is the ruling of the Gambia Court of Appeal that is Jammeh Gaddafi the subsequent response by the Attorney General and our positions so far. That's the truth. That will not limit you from asking any other question that we might have left out. As Lulu said, we don't close down. People may ask any questions they want to ask. And we will do our best to answer all the questions. Now, I want to make a contrast as to what the key ingredients of the judgment versus the response of Attorney General Batambe versus who is Batambe. We must look at it from that perspective. To this end, before I go into the details, I want you to meet various media houses to make your judgment and those listening. I would just want to read what Batambe did. This response to the judgment, just some quotes from it. I will go into the judgment and I will now lay out who Batambe is. He said, meanwhile, consistent with the government's strong commitment to respect for rule of law, all sale of properties flowing from the Janneh Commission recommendations have now been suspended in deference to the ruling of the Court of Appeal until the final pronouncement is made. But he said this. He said, the government notes that different interpretations of the ruling are being offered by many, including sections of the media. The government wishes to clarify to the general public that the Gambia Court of Appeal did not in any way state that the Jammeh Commission recommendations cannot be enforced. It did not state in any way that the Jammeh Commission recommendations cannot be enforced. Rather, in a departure from long-established practice in this jurisdiction, the Court of Appeal held that an additional legal step needs to be taken by the executive in order to execute some and not all of the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry, such as the Jammeh Commission. Indeed, the Gambia Court of Appeal has accepted in the same ruling that the position arrived at by the court in this matter is a novel. The government, however, disagrees with this position by the Court of Appeal and intends to further litigate this matter. And that he concluded by saying, the new Gambia is committed to the principles of good governance and rapidly gaining recognition around the world as a bastion of democracy and judicial independence. These are the words by Jammeh. It is the same judgment we all read. Let's make comparisons. In the judgment, Justice Ngai said, a commission of inquiry does not and legally cannot make a judgment. A commission of inquiry does not and legally cannot make a judgment. Very clear word. In other words, he continued, a commission of inquiry cannot legally render a binding decision which may be executed or enforced as it were a judgment or order. Cannot make it a binding decision or enforce it as if it were a judgment, as a court-giving judgment or an order from the court. Batambedu said the judgment did not say that. Justice Ngai further said, the adverse findings and recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry are merely advisory and not conclusive and binding. The adverse recommendations are mere recommendations and not conclusive, neither binding. Justice Ngai, in his judgment, weighed against what Batambedu said. He further noted that Commission of Inquiry is part and parcel of the executive and not part of the judiciary, thus not an adjudicating body. Commission of Inquiry is part of the executive. It has nothing to do with the legislature or the judiciary. And therefore, it's only the judiciary that can make judgments that can be enforced and executed, or orders. This is what they are saying. The appeal court quoted and relied on a Supreme Court judgment filed Jammeh versus the Attorney General with the Chief Justice sitting, that's Hassan B. Jallow, current Chief Justice. And Justice Hassan Jallow stated that a commission of inquiry is not a law-making body. It has no legislative powers and that does not fall within the legislature. This is before a previous case that this judgment relied on. This was also stated, and this had not been a guidance to Batambedu, Attorney General, and Chief Legal Advisor to government. Justice Jallow further said in that judgment that a commission of inquiry is an investigative, fact-finding body which makes findings and recommendations that are subjected to the approval of government. The legal judgments are not subject to approval of the President of the Executive. This is Asangallo's judgment in a different case earlier on. Justice Jai of the Appeal Court said, consequently, my view is that the advised findings or recommendations of a commission of inquiry cannot be executed or enforced. They are not judgments or orders of an adjudicating body. Cannot. This is what he said. But I just read it for you when he said, that's not what the judgment said. I think he's reading another document from Mars. You see, we are at a stage that no one person can pull Gambia. We must recognize that. If mistakes are made, we must accept our mistakes as human beings. But in the execution of our duties, we must put away emotions and sentiments. The government white paper, Jai said about the government white paper. A white paper does not certainly emanate from the Commission of Inquiry. It emanates from government. And it is, as a result, not part of the report of the Commission of Inquiry. It is not legislative. It has no legislative character, and it's certainly not a judgment or order of a court. That's a white paper. Certainly not a judgment or order of a court. And only the court has those jurisdictions. Justice Jai finally said, if, following the publication of a report of a commission of inquiry, together with any advice findings and recommendations, the executive intends to impose any penalty to any person adversely mentioned, the executive must, quote, the executive must take the requisite court action, whether civil or criminal, in order to have those penalties enforced. And the recommendations are done. It goes to government, and government wants to act. The judgment is that they cannot do anything. If they want to go further, they should resort to the court. Batambedu misled us. I quote him again. The government wishes to clarify that the general public that the Gambia Court of Appeals did not in any way state that the Ghana Commission recommendations cannot be enforced. Comparison. I've just read two of them. And then he went further to state, Batambedu, that what the commission said is government can go to another level of going to court. Then why should government stop selling the property? I beg that question. And the Justice Njai finally concluded, the conclusion now. He said, the 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia do not provide for the suffering of liabilities by persons against whom advice findings are made by commissions of inquiry. Justice Njai, I read again. The 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia do not provide for the suffering of liabilities by persons against whom advice findings are made by the Commission of Inquiry. Cannot just be automatic. Commission says this, we go and implement it. These are what we are, where we are today. Various reactions came out. Key amongst them is Almame. We all know Almame is a lawyer by profession, with a disappointment by all standards. Almame, I quote him, just a person. Attorney General should not have suspended the sale of properties and assets belonging to former President Yahya Jammeh and others, despite the appeal court ruling. Listen, this is just one case. Every other case will be subjected to the same. What he was trying to say is, this is Ghanem versus Attorney General. And therefore, if it comes to Yahya Jammeh or Fabakary, we should wait for that. If a lawyer can talk to Gambians in that sense, I will be most disappointed for any Gambian to seek for any legal advice from that person. I'm not a lawyer, but I challenge him. The ruling states categorically, not the Commission of Inquiry cannot enforce orders on Ghanem. He said cannot enforce orders on any Gambian. The last portion of what I read to you, he said was that the 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia do not provide for the suffering of liabilities of persons against whom advice findings have been found. These are very clear statements. But they are out to mislead Gambians. They are vicious, they are emotional, and they are full of sentiments. Why? I will give you reasons. Since President Jammeh left the source of this country. Yourselves, you will see the narration. And all these things, I must sadly say, that even some media houses are complicit. Because your key role is to inform factually, without bias, without emotions, without your lineages, political lineages to the public. If you are investigative, you can make analysis. I remember, Honorable, I don't know whether you have it right.
Yes.
Sometime last year, some time ago, myself and Dudu had a program on
Africa TV.
And I said this. I said, it is illegal for the Commission of Inquiry to effect sales of President Jammeh's properties, especially his capital and vehicles. Nobody listened. It was not even an issue. You know, the issues we raised, just one, it just comes out one portion. You don't hear it again. And people belabor issues. There are a lot of things happening in this system that for me, I cannot ever imagine those things happening during our life. The adage here is APRC and Yahya Jammeh human rights violation in every form. But is that all in governance? Is that all in governance? When people have prepared people's minds, have their program to detract people from current issues so that they will openly be looting the assets of Gambians, thus leading us into acute poverty and despair. This is what is happening. I will ask Dudu to play that, to confirm that. We will come. Now, we go and now ask the question. Why were AG and regional Barcambi and his cohorts busy on the smear campaign against APRC, Yahya Jammeh, landmark, since former President Jammeh left the office? And I ask for us all listening. If I am lying, you can say it. I am saying that the main reason was to distract us Gambians focus us on Yahya Jammeh, his killings, his looting, APRC, how bad we are, while they are looting civilizedly our resources, enriching themselves, playing on the minds of Gambia. I'm continuously trying to tarnish the image of Yahya Jammeh's smear campaign over the years. You have all seen it. When we started in 2017, you dare not even tell somebody APRC. No, you can do wear an APRC t-shirt or symbol. People were scared. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants truth and will always protect those on the truth. Today, all this smear campaign, APRC is going from strength to strength. Because Gambians, most Gambians, have now realized that the solution to Gambia's problem is not talking about what the bad Yahya Jammeh did. And no one will ever talk about the good that he has done. But most of those bad things that they allege he has done are happening today in the Gambia. I want to demand and all President Adam Barrow. I will first of all ask Batambedu to resign as Attorney General of the Minister of Justice. He has failed the system. He can only talk loud and big when his actions are small and minute as an ant. His behavior does not conform to the position of Attorney General and Minister of Justice. As Attorney General and Minister of Justice, despite whatever might have happened, you should be independent, you should be less emotional, you should be professional and honest. Now, in the absence of that, President Adam Barrow is losing his popularity because of many reasons. The key amongst them is Batambe. Therefore, it is not only enough to stop the sales of properties of those adversely affected at the Commission of Inquiry. The court has said it is illegal. So whatever Batambedu and his cohort have done is criminal and illegal. That's the decision of the court. To not only stop it, you must tell people where are those properties, who are there, are they on rent, have you rented any of them, who is collecting the money, and return those properties to their owners until otherwise decided by the court. That's what we are demanding. It's not enough. You cannot go under the cloak. This judgment is the biggest disgrace to Barrow government. When, if you remember, and following the white paper, they unilaterally decided to leave some out from punishment and others to be punished. Now, the Gambia Court of Appeal has categorically stated that sales of properties of those affected by the commission or whatever are illegal, and that whatever is there cannot be enforced or executed. So what I'm saying is Batambedu must bring back those properties to their owners. Because I remember they were busy going around removing people from President Jammeh's properties. Very insensitive. Very insensitive. Even if they were to be seized, you have 4 people living there. Well, you have the milk of humankind. You are a leader of a people. Wherever you have leaders, you know that it's the people whom you are leading, and it's the people whose interests you must protect. This is what they did here when they took damage statues from farmers and fruit groups and all these things, only to go and sell them to individuals. Just look at this. We want to move. We want to buy Cameroon. And you, the journalists, I tell you, I tell you, for us to be informed on which of the properties are sold, to whom were they sold, was it advertised in the papers or declared, or an auction declared, and who are those responsible for the sales? Because commission confiscated items should be managed, I believe, by the Assets Management and Recovery Company, APRC. But I am aware some of the people who were evicted by individuals. Some of them, we understand, are close associates with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. What are these people doing? You think Gambia is a private property? People should know this must not be managed clandestine. We cannot come and tell us big things that nobody will go to investigate. Give us proofs. How much money has been realized? Where are the monies? Tell us. We have people in the system who will confirm. So I will try to make. I know there are certain issues that people may want to hear. I have heard over the air the European Union resident representative in the Gambia. He said he was fighting for the cause of the LGBT, the gay people, and went further to say that why the EU is giving government funds is for them to protect those people. Honestly, even if I had agreed with them as a government, and you come to belittle us like that, that day you would not spend the night here. You see, this is how much the borough government is seen by the president. And this is all the more the difference between this government and the APRC Jammeh government. He does not and will never succumb to pressure at the expense of the average Gambian. You call him a dictator, a killer. There are worse killers and worse dictators around the globe, and they are called democrats. We know it. APRC government never ever tolerate a man marrying a woman. Sorry, a man or a woman marrying a woman. If that happens, all of us would not have it here. If Adam was created with another Adam, that was going to be the end of the world. You will not have offspring. They are able to do it because man married woman. That's why they are able to come to this earth, and now they decide to go. It will never happen. It's against our values, our norms, our culture, and our religion. Things are unfolding All these cases, all these problems, even UDP is complicit. The entire coalition team are complicit in the problems we are encountering. But name them. All put away the APRC. What we aspire, what we think, is remove the APRC, bring in a system that's better than APRC, that moves forward. Don't repeat the bad that APRC government did. Correct them and move. But if you talk to them, oh, what are you doing? They tell you have done it. Yep. I was also touched when I heard the Honorable Minister of Health. There were no serious follow-ups on this serious allegation. This COVID-19, when he reported to Parliament and he was in the press, he talked about government officials being corrupt. Minister himself was corrupt. They were inflating things, doing everything to squeeze out money. And remember, government filed from our travel vote, no more travel. And we had concessions, these loan concessions from people who lent us money. We are no longer paying those monies. And some other things, we put aside money that we are now distributing as rights. And this, my worry was, those monies should have been appropriated first. 1.2 billion, whatever. Tell us how you, tell Parliament, who are our representatives, how you use them. We are going to use 250 million to compensate shops that we close. We are going to buy this number of rice. We are going to buy drugs. We are going to buy vehicles. We are going to give allowances. We are going to whatever. Break it down and our representatives will have it. So when they go to use it the way they want, and you want to do oversight, it becomes difficult. Because if they decide to buy 20 vehicles, you cannot tell them why 20 vehicles. The budget is meant to regulate. So that when you come, you tell them to buy 20 and you find they bought 12, 10, you find 12, but now. But what is clear is that for whatever reasons, there is massive looting of our resources within the system. These are wars emanating from themselves. And the other final, probably the final one, I've talked about it. Two things. The Independent Electoral Commission, they are complicit in the case of the impasse following the 2016 presidential election. And over the period, we as a party sincerely believe that a lot of things went wrong. Just to get out. Key prayers are, of course, the IEC, also the IEC Jammeh, who himself said clearly and categorically that he's happy if they are out and they are coming to work. for us to have free, fair, and independent elections. We demand that more independent-minded people, honest, sincere Gambians, be appointed to the IEC. As regards the TRRC, it has lost its momentum. When the Janneh Commission started, there was a lot of noise in the Gambia. As it lost its morality and the flavor, people started saying, wait until the TRRC comes. It will be the killer blow for the APRC. That's what they said. And every manipulation was done to make sure APRC is dated and the Jammeh is dated. And we are aware, up to today, they are doing more moves to see how they can get to who's there in the APRC. Thank God, our Gambian people want more development, better schools, better hospitals. They are tired of hearing anything about Yaya Jammeh. I will conclude with Batambi by saying that if you people remember, Honorable Yankuba Toure went to the TRRC. Well before he came to the audience itself, he said he will not talk about that period. That's 1994 to 1996. Because he will go contrary to the 1997 Constitution. They got it, he refused to talk. But what happened? SFR said they will send him to the Attorney General for contempt. The Attorney General said, the immediate response was, I will teach him a lesson. What we did was just to go and charge the man for money. When those who stood before the court, before the TRRC, and confessed to murder, are left to go back to some government place of this country. Prior to Yankuba Toure's TRRC attendance, he was here. What does he know then, now that he never knew then? Because Yankuba never said anything. But as I said, we are seeing him. I'm happy that he is bold and resolute. The Constitution provides, that's 1997 Constitution, which according to them is bad and is the law of the land as up to today. Provides that no commission, no court, no order, no judge, no person can look into the affairs of that period during the military period of transition. No, but Constitution. He relied on it. My worry was, why don't you start from 1997? Come on. By the time you change the Constitution, if you want to go and look back on it, why do we have to flout the Constitution and punish somebody? The TRRC who are offended said, we are sending him for contempt. Then for me, was there bad blood between him? Does Batambi have something that may warrant him to charge this young man for murder? I will conclude by deliberately maybe the last thing. That is the, I know people are ready to ask them. That is going to be the attempted, the rumored attempted attack. No, I never wanted you to ask because my response will be harsh. If you remember, during the impasse, Bokasi and others were saying, yeah, people are coming to come and get Yahya Jammeh. Coup is coming. Yahya Jammeh is going under the bunker and all these things. You are saying a lot of things. People are saying a lot of things. And nobody was attacking those people to any political party. If anything good is said by this gentleman, you don't say he's APRC, you say he's power manga. If he does anything bad, hey, APRC go. So what I want to make clear is that we as a party, APRC, we are structured and organized. We have a mouthpiece that gives out, that communicates what the party stands for. Elements of the party have a right to do what they believe in, or to expose anything or to anything. In this particular case, the names are here. Some of them are profess APRC. Some of them are not APRC. I don't know whether it's Soko or somebody. Is it Soko? Soko. They are not APRC. Why should people want to ask APRC about it? One thing we want to make clear. We don't believe in any form of violence, much more a military technique. We believe that only the people of the Gambia must decide who governs them. So we are tired. Everything good, nobody points to the APRC. Even Fabakari himself, if I do good, they will not say it's APRC, they say Fabakari himself. But if I do bad, they will say the APRC leader. We are tired. We don't want to. We are focused, we love this country, but we cannot be cowed down. We have faith in Allah. Inshallah, we believe that only Allah determines leadership through the people. I thank you all once again, and of course, it will not be easy, to come.
Barrow government down, the APRC is willing to go into a coalition with the UDP. From the horse's mouth, can you please?
All right. Thank you. No, that we are happy about that. So what happened is, Mandinkolko, yes, you show ye.
Ibilano.
No. You see, we as a party, we don't have a grievance. It's a game of politics. There is this adage. You have only politics is all about interest. You don't have permanent friends. Somebody who may be your enemy may be your friend tomorrow. If you remember, Barrow and Usenu, Barrow Usenu is everything.
His godfather.
Godfather. But Dudu was very clear in what he said. He said to put down the Barrow. There is need for any other people to come together to create the party, giving you the service. We are open to dialogue with any political party, APRC. We can talk, no problem. We have an interest to protect. If we cannot agree, you go your way, we go our way. We don't put away anything. But yes, it's true that for some political parties it may be very difficult. It may be very difficult, but it's not impossible. So we rest assured the claims UDP and they are making noise out of it that we want to say. We thank Allah because before nobody wants to see APRC much more to work with APRC. If today we are a hot pancake, then we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we are going to remain consistent. Rest assured about that. Always the party's interest and Gambia's interest. We will never mortgage this country's interest for anything. Rest assured about that. But your concern, this was the talk of the town. And the jury even came out to clarify. But you hear them, it's nice to say we have no qualms with anybody. We have no qualms. What we are saying is negotiation is about give and take. We will do our best. It may be easier with A than with B, or C than with D. That's true in all negotiations. But we don't rule out anybody. But don't take us for granted. We are the biggest. We are the biggest. And as we move towards election, it may not even warrant APRC to go into any alliance with anybody. We may be able to object people, because we know what we are doing on the ground. That's why there is this pressure, distracting us, refusing to give us money, getting our vehicles. You see, APRC is funded from APRC militants. All these people, none of them working. None of them. Where do we get the money? From COVID-19, and then we embark on. So you'll be surprised. There may not even be any more about talks. People may tell us,
you've already highlighted that you are working on documentation as to how to go about the courts. Now how to go about forwarding your case to the court about the property issue to the government. Now that the courts have made something of this significant which to somehow give you weight about what your argument is, are you still going to go forward to make it formally going to go forward? And I want to know, as a party, what exactly are your demands since the court makes the decision that the government should have taken legal steps? What exactly are your demands? That's what I want to know, sir, as a party.
Or ordered by them is illegal. Our cows, making sale of Jammeh's properties, houses, cattle, vehicles, all what is done by the commission is illegal.
Because of your experience in the National Assembly for 20 years, from 1997 to 2017, we are not over Sakunda. I said, I'm a Sakunda, or Yajam Masuna. And Yajam Fanan, I am more going to Masaya, or in Sada, I am a tourism. Yajam Fanan, Masaya. Yajam PPP government. I PPP la Mudolta, I am I put in the ban. In a minister, I have property sold in a land, I am a person, and for the president, one Sada, I'll get your Yasis after another. So, APRC as a party, yes, one can understand that. But APRC as a party is a difference on your manual system because APRC was contributing for that difference. So, PPP also, at that time, we are also contributing for that vehicle. So, the minister, he found as corrupt. The people so many people from the leaders. And we are number one. Very very Marcel. The European Commission Lodge, the European Commission Lodge, PS Jammeh said out of the first Saturday, among Commission Lodge. Jammeh is the first party man who can Commission sector. And Jammeh Commission sector. Your folk have been the one matters. So, Yabra, you have to go as an I will love.
Jawara independent or civil. Hello. Jawara Masakunda Kono. Jawara Masakunda Kono. Commissioner Lota Jane. Commissioner Magdalena. Commissioner Kalur Kapur. Iko. Yaya Jammeh PDP la songo sisi le la botol sisi le yeta. Sai ninga tra baroma sakunda franda le APRC la songo sisi le ya Jammeh la songo sisi. Oba na kala tana nyanda ite ko ye botol de ba o ko la ko patrol tabo. Ya le man ku no understand. Yaya Jammeh na ta kidol. Kabira sisi because you lual min base gante ya base system patrol be ban man sakunda katama decree bolem Ake, ake. Kido. What is Mulatina was any flow constitutional ko akana kiskis. So it all la ko baro man na kidola. Baro na tala lual be keri. So luwa te gane tamala wal. Nim mo na ta misal fe mi e baro bondi misal fe alman tankalla la kesola. Abe constitutional ban la. Abe kolle luwa ko defo. E me fo dole be. So whatever difference what is that can be understand. It can be for and what of APRC let Armed Forces Provisional Ruling Council. Roman APRC. What of Kidole Kadiam? Molle Kadiam mini liela. Lua mantra carry. Political party take carry. Kafu take carry. It only is lala. So Bolka, I love the yoga farm Doronko. They are miracle APRC left. Wato, I didn't have one country like Lola. It is an uncle dollar not more money. That's that anyway. I tell it down the Yamo to put it. These basic things happen. A constitutional suspended, a political ban, what I've been from based on, the council law. You can follow you at the time of one. Remove the constitutional rule. So it is annual. When you mamma is a follower, Cabo will from Cap, Anila Odiol. Hi, APRC Kolu, if they come fatter, if they get one of the Funko Tiger, the Funko Figan, if they are getting Yellow Mulkatiamu, come far. So, you know, APRC came into being covering constitutional law. But then you make 94 for the Bekara. Woman, what did you along APRC? But I'm more than what to constitutional money, constitutional because you cannot take constitutional suspect. You have one with the Alabia side. So they got of way. And what of 94 APRC must APRC in July 22nd, 1996. What will actually? So what will be APRC must Welcome, yalo welcome the Kamfarin Kamale. Yabotan because I mean that Kenya. Yalo mean the bull APRC meeting. I think more that Kenya. Honestly, I'm telling you. You see, leadership and development is about commitment. Nanyo. So come on, so be along with Kemire Multa Mala and how to make money. Remember to the Mol and you know there is a time in leadership that you must be educated. There is a time, even in a democracy. What about Trump? Trump PRP. He's imposing his will basically on the American people as president. It's all there. So, but what is important for us is, let it be for the best interest of the people. So, coming for you, to Lamotol Tarimata, Koyata, you are a Tia, Yata. Pretty more for you are a Tia, Koyati, Ratna. You can only be a threat for us if we are wrong and you are trying to come. Batambedu is a threat to Gambia. I have enumerated some of the activities of Batambedu. The Gambian loves those things. We are talking about transparency, accountability, and probity. We are talking about the dignity of the man. And the man is a human rights activist. Now, how can we have all what I have enumerated happening? It's not happening to APRC. Because the money is to be taken, if they are not going to give it to APRC, it's to be plowed for the good of the Gambia. And I am confident, I am 100% confident that if President Jammeh's properties or articles were sold and the money spent on Gambians, he has no recourse, no problem. I can guarantee that. So what I'm saying is, it's not about that. What we are trying to say is, we have been saying this many times. We are saying that we are giving reasons why we feel that Batambedu is not good enough. I've not just said we dislike Batambedu. I have given you numerous reasons. And then finally, we are in this mess. Government is in this mess because of Batambedu. We all agree he is the legal advisor to the president and the executive. Why do you have to say, Dudu, I asked you to play this thing. A year ago, just give 2-3 minutes and you listen to ITV this thing, what myself and Dudu said. Nobody was listening. You see, we are not hungry for anything. We want justice. We want things to be right. We want a better Gambia. I come in for what I'm Batambedu for the senior Jammeh. For APRC ko manghani Batambedu la bang for Batambedu la manghani la bang ako na yun kaya ko Batambedu amanje ko abu APRC le vet wala mo silata ala Gambia bele silata Batambedu la because of Abarat because akabarol min ci ngamin fu jam ngamin dam ma fu jam anem be ñim masi bo min ko ten kiti o min ko ten Batambedu la Batambedu le moti miyalon ko atele mu moti minyanta Mansakunda Adama Barrow na la Mansakunda ya marla luwala tola. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice give legal advice. Kumba get Honorable Kumba get la ko kare gana bay ñu misli. Ñin ko fa dan kare gana to nga fulo fam batata. Nga dia molke min dia ta ya ko drop. Ko ay kamin fanan ke ko ni sol mi wafi da dumale wafi ye wafi dumale because nga moy ko modol de keri ne mi yalon ko be nyimman Sakunda ko ni su koral de begu so kanyu nguro be bay gena na ya fonne ko ni skari ngole wafi la balle nyi don sang module nyi don sang nga wafi ngi de la mo yalon we have a right to know, it's not secret.